Hi there! Thanks for joining me today on Axolotl Saturday! I'm super excited. It's time again. It's time for my Axolotl collab. As you can see, I'm working on several projects at once. I am going to be moving out of my house for 2 weeks while the builder fixes some stuff, so I need to get a bunch of projects and videos done ahead of time. So this is the axolotl mold I'm using, and to that I will be adding some pink Let's Resin crystal clear epoxy resin. I have added a few drops of Marabu rainbow glitter alcohol ink, and then I'm using the color Fiesta from Tim Holtz Ranger line of alcohol inks. I'm looking for a deep reddish pink, so to this I'm also adding a few drops of red regular resin dye. This is the color Ruby, and it's still not deep enough for me, so I also add Wild Plum alcohol ink from Tim Holtz Ranger line. Now that I've got the color perfected, it's time to pour. I want to pour this about 3/4 of the way because I need to leave room for 2 more layers of resin after this. I accidentally poured too much, which is pretty common for me, so now I get to use my stirring stick and fish a bunch of it out. That is going to sit on my heating mat and cure for 3 to 4 hours, and we'll be ready for our next step. Also in true Erica fashion, I forgot to record myself pouring the next layer. So it's this nice sort of really light green color, and I'm mimicking the first layer of watermelon rind here. Since there are parts of this mold that do come up over the resin, I make sure that I get underneath those parts and try to fish out any bubbles that might be there. Again, this will cure for 3 to 4 hours and we'll be ready to go. That is actually clear resin with some holographic fine cut white glitter. And I will add a little bit of opaque white resin dye to that. And to that, I will also be adding Mojito alcohol ink from the Tim Holtz Ranger line. Because of the opaque white resin dye that I used, this turns out to be sort of a pastel green rather than a dark green. I was really going for dark green, but I kind of like this color, and I think it still contrasts pretty well with the layer underneath it, so I just ran with it. That's all cured, and now it's time for the Olympic sport of demolding my axolotl. If it looks like this mold fought me, it's because it totally did. I know it's hard for everyone to demold, but I feel like there must be a trick to it that I'm missing. If you have any tips or tricks, please let me know. Finally, I got this adorable little guy out of the mold. As before, there are a couple of bubbles in the ends of the gills, but here we call those flirps. Thank you, Johnny Dark. Axolotl kiss. This watermelon axolotl definitely needs some seeds. And to do that, I am applying some black jelly AB rhinestones. And I will be using my super fancy knockoff B7000 glue. The glue was behaving a little oddly, but it still worked, and these are on there for good now. It really works pretty well. Normally, I would use liquid fusion glue to apply rhinestones to something like this, but I can't find it. Totally flipped all of the rhinestones out of the little tray. Back to business. I go ahead and apply these rhinestones sort of evenly on this side, and then I of course flip it around and do the other side. I also decide to add a couple of rhinestones to a couple of his little legs. Of course he needs eyes. After this glue sets, he's all done, and he's so cute. I really, really love him. He definitely says watermelon to me. What do you think? You'll have to let me know. I hope you liked my axolotl, and thanks for watching Axolotl Saturday. There are so many other people collaborating with me, and their videos are in the playlist, which will be linked in my description. This happens the first Saturday of every month, and if you want to join in, you just let me know. You can do any medium, you can do anything, as long as it's axolotl theme. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, my kitschy cats and kittens, and I'll see you soon.